hello, hello, pretty girl alumni. Please join the lesson. Class is in session. Grab a seat, grab some tea, some snacks, anything to keep you company. Today, we're going to be talking about how people are in constant competition because they hate themselves. hmm Let's talk about it. So, this topic stemmed from the phrase comparison is the thief of joy. And I know that phrase is very common and people use it in terms of social media. I remember this phrase became very popular when people were trying to combat the wave of insecurities and, self-doubt and lowered self-esteem that social media and editing apps was bringing around and making more common, and more people had access to these beauty standards that were quite frankly unattainable or not naturally attainable. And the thing with me is that in a capitalistic world, we are literally always in a competition. There is not one sector or one important sector of society where it feels like you do not need to compete or you do not need to essentially be good enough to be in that space. The only places where I feel like you don't need to compete are the irrelevant parts of society, but we're going to be focusing on the elevated parts of society. So if we look at schools, they have tests, they give awards for the best grades. If you look at work, they have employee of the month, they have bonuses, they have all these things. So you have in this world, you have to compete. And there is a healthy way to compete. And I do think that competition, especially amongst women outside of men, can bring quite much progress in the feminist movement. I feel like if women were detached from the idea of competing for men and started competing for other things like competing for job prospects, competing for um, power positions like Kamala, like Hillary, like all these women in places of power, that I truly believe that is a good type of competition. And it is a healthy type of competition because essentially what we're doing is we're infiltrating those places where we were not allowed to be in, and we're changing the system. If we look at how much the world has evolved, it's truly because women were infiltrating those positions of power. So I'm just clarifying that I don't mean that competition is bad. I truly believe that competition is good. It pushes you. I like to compete. I am a marathon runner. I like to compete in my class. I like to do the best in my class or the best that I can. But you will compete in this world. But what I'm talking about is that constant, constant competition in everything you do, even in things that aren't comparable. It's those girls who constantly looking, oh, how are you dressed? How am I dressed? I need to outdress you. It's those girls that you see on TikTok where they get mad and they crash out on their friends because their friends dressed better than them for their birthdays. That is so unhealthy. Think of how unhealthy that has to be, that you have now essentially ruined your party, ruined your birthday, and then probably could possibly have ruined your friendship with that person, or ruined your reputation because those videos are all over social media because you're in constant competition. And to me, that stems from self-hatred because you only compete with people to become like them or to become better than them, and that's only to run away from yourself. When you are in a healthy competition, you don't look at other people's achievements as a symbol of your failure or that you need to do something about yourself and you are not good enough. You can use it as fuel, but it's a very slippery line. And I tend to find that a lot of mentally unhealthy people, they don't see jealousy and insecurity as a direction to improve themselves. They see it as a negative feeling that they need to act out upon because the world is so unfair. Why is this person better than me? Why is that person better than me? And that's only because they hate themselves and they constantly running away from themselves. Because if you weren't running away from yourself, you would confront those issues. You would say, why am I jealous if she dresses better than me? Hmm. Maybe it's because I don't have confidence in my self style, my self expression. So let me work on that. Let me improve that so that next time I don't have these feelings. Maybe ask your friend for tips. And this is what I get so confused about is that a lot of people are willing to help you. Um, Even if it's not people directly, there are a lot of resources out there. So essentially, there is no reason to be jealous of anyone to the point where you are competing with them, you're crashing out if they're doing better than you. It's those people who embarrass themselves during important functions. The greatest scenario I can think of, in my opinion, is Kanye West and Taylor Swift. Like, crashing out because Taylor Swift got an award. That is silly, and that only highlights your insecurities. You think that by tearing someone down or competing with someone or making someone feel like I have finally got one up on you is a act of triumph, but actually it's an act of defeat. You are allowing that person essentially to be your goals. You know what Cardi said? She said, when they see me, they say goals. I'm who they trying to be. So you thinking that, oh, this girl with a BB out, she thinks she's better than everyone. I'm gonna go get a BB out even though it looks ridiculous on you. Or, oh, this girl, she thinks she's all that. She got a wig installed. I'm gonna take what little money I have, and I'm not gonna budget properly because I wanna post myself with a wig tomorrow. And now you look silly because it's not installed properly because you didn't have the funds to buy a proper quality wig or to install it properly. It's just silly. You cannot compete with someone's originality. So find your own uniqueness, find your own space, and just improve on that and be the best version of yourself. Only compete if it is going to elevate you and propel you forward. Only compete in a healthy way where you understand that you can lose, quote unquote, lose. I don't see competition as a win or lose in certain aspects. I see it as a chance for us to all test and put our best forward, and then you can see what your best is. And if you feel like that is your limit, then you can accept that. You can bring on some sort of acceptance, or you can improve it. So even when I run marathons, I don't run them because I know for a fact that this race I'm going to win. It's probably going to take me a couple more years until I can even dream of getting in the top five because I haven't been running as long as most of the people running marathons professionally. So I'm not gonna go to the marathon and every time I come out like 16th, I'm gonna crash out, or 25th, I'm gonna crash out. And why did this person come first? No, because I am essentially there to improve myself. So even if I don't get the top spot, I still learned something. I still competed. I still got a medal. I still got certificates. I still got pictures. I still represented my running club. You still showed up and you still showed out and you tried your best. And that can actually, that mindset and that mentality, instead of I have to beat them, I have to beat them, I have to be better than this girl, that girl, that girl, it's not healthy, right? And when I say in previous talking points to use spite, I don't mean to say, oh, you need to constantly focus on those people that are talking negatively about you. I just say it as a form to propel you forward. Everything I say you must use is to propel you forward. It's never to be vindictive, or it's never to waste your time or energy. It's to propel you forward. If someone did something bad to you and it hurts you and you're depressed, I'd rather you be spiteful and use that spite to get yourself out of bed and go to the gym and do cardio and do some punching bag exercises and get that frustration out. And now look, you've burned some calories, you've improved your heart rate, you've improved your health, and you used spite to do that. But essentially, it's propelling you forward. I don't say use your spite to sit on it and simmer on it, because then that turns to bitterness and that turns to resentment. So this is the words, these are the words of wisdom for today. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you can relate to this. Have you ever found yourself having to compete? What are some type of healthy competitions or some ways that you like to compete to propel yourself but not to demoralize yourself? Let me know in the comment sections. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.